Well, hello there. Welcome to Learning with Lynn. So today is Sunday, July 21st, and I am Lynn.
And I'm Richard.
And this is Richard. So if you're here with us live, comment so we can see that you're here. I see there's a couple of people in. It's just barely 6 o'clock. So anyway, welcome you all out today. Today we're going to talk about 10 actual things you can do today to take charge of your Avon business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some things around and I'm going to share my screen. There you go. So now you can see my screen. And Anitra, hi, good to see you. Glad to see you're here. Thank you for coming. So this is what we're going to talk about. This is my blog, onlinebeautybiz.com. And in here, if you're brand new to Avon, you can click on Getting Started up here, and that will walk you through the steps to get started. And then you can sign up to get on our email list, which means that whenever I write a new blog post, which is 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll get that in your email, which is my blog post and training. Hi, Idra, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So you can get on that. And also, if you fill this out, you'll get my best recruiting flyers and labels. So that's that. And then below that is the search. If you're on your phone, all of this is at the bottom. It's I think what you get is just this main part right here, and all of the rest of it's at the bottom, so you have to scroll all the way down for it. But Anitra, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. There you go. I really appreciate you. So thank you for saying that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 10 actual things you can do today to take charge of your Avon business. Hey, Chris, good to see you. So finding success in your Avon business, it means something different to everybody because everybody has different things they want out of their Avon business. They have different reasons for joining. You know, it doesn't always mean fame and fortune. Your definition of success may be totally different than that from some other representative, and that's totally okay. So what's important, though, to know is that no matter what your dreams are, no matter what your circumstance, you can change your life's path by making little changes. And so those little changes over time are going to produce amazing results. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first one is figure out who you want to be and what you want your Avon business to look like, and then plan the steps you need to get there. So what are you looking for? Are you looking to be a top leadership rep? Are you looking to be at the very top of the pay plan? Or are you looking just to be able to be home with your daughter or your son? You know, maybe you have little kids at home and you just don't want to have to go get a job. And so you maybe need to make enough to make a living, but you're not looking to be a big rock star in your Avon business. You're just looking to be able to be home with your kids. That's what's important to you. Or maybe you have a job that you love and you have no intention of leaving, and you just want to make a little extra money so you can pay for vacations or pay for trips or school clothes for your kids or whatever that is. So figure out what that is. What is your Avon business? What do you want it to look like? What exactly do you want your business to look like? So that's probably the first step, is to know what it is you want. So then the second one is practice habit stacking or multitasking. So maybe you've been meaning to spend some time in Avon U. You know, there's a lot of amazing training in Avon U, but you just haven't been able to find the time. Well, plan to just take 10 minutes during the time your coffee is brewing, or maybe while your kids are eating their breakfast, or whatever, you know, that you have a few minutes and go in and just go through 1 or 2 modules. You don't have to spend hours in there. Just take the time to go through 1 or 2 modules a day. And if you put that on your to-do list to just take the next module or the next one, I mean, a lot of them are only 3 or 5 or 8 minutes long. So you can literally just do a little bit every day. And doing that little bit every day is going to make a difference because you're going to learn something that's going to help your business.
Yeah, the thing I like to do, I like to do learning things late at night before I go to bed, because then it stays in my mind and my mind can just kind of play with it. So what I'll do we'll do whatever we do every evening, and then at the end I'll come up and I'll do some kind of training or learn about something. It just takes about 15 minutes usually, and you just do that right before you go to bed, and it's fresh on your mind, and you're kind of your mind is kind of running it over all night long. making
That's
it
true.
happen.
I do a lot of that too, and it's just kind of you're winding down, you're wrapping up. We always, both of us, come up to our computers before we go to bed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a good thing, but we go to our computers and we just check to make sure there isn't any last minute emails, and then we might pick up 1 or 2 trainings from Avon U or from some other things that we're training on.
Yep. And then first thing in the morning when we take our shower, that's when we do the best thinking, and we're in the shower and all that stuff just starts flooding out of our head.
No kidding. And your mind will process that while you're sleeping too. And it will process that. And then I do my best thinking in the shower. It's like I have to keep a little Post-it note in my bathroom, because when I think of an idea, I have to write it down. But okay, number 3, incorporate the 5-minute rule. So instead of like say you go, I want to meditate. Well, you don't have 20 minutes to do that, right? So then commit to 5 minutes. Or if you're doing a cardio workout, if you want to get on the treadmill, you can start small with 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can maybe add 5 minutes. Or just take 5 minutes throughout the day. It doesn't even have to be all at once. You can get on the treadmill for 5 minutes here, and then 5 minutes there, and then 5 minutes there. And before you know it, you've done your 20 minutes or your 25 minutes or whatever it is that you want to do. So, not everything takes, in fact, in our business, a lot of the things that we need to do in our business come in very small time slots. So it's just a matter of using those as you have them. Another perfect example is when Richard and I first started Avon. I was I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and I was commuting an hour and a half each way. I was driving, so I didn't have the freedom like on a train or something to be able to just do what I wanted. I was driving, but I listened to CDs and trainings in my car while I was driving. And it's funny, when I quit my job, that was the thing I missed, because I had an hour and a half each way of training.
Yeah.
But,
the rolling university.
Yeah. But you know what? You can do, there's little pockets of time. So like maybe I could make a phone call on my lunch break, or if you're a mom, you take your kids to their gymnastics events or to their soccer games or whatever it is. And there's always that 10, 15 minutes when you're sitting waiting for the game to start. So there's so much you can get done in little pockets of time, just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there. It can make all the difference in the world. So take things with you that you can work on in those small pockets of times to help build your business. And then make clear boundaries. Boundaries are necessary to keep us sane. Do you want to be on call 24/7? Do you want your customers to call you at 1 o'clock in the morning? Or would you rather just do that only during business hours? So kind of set your boundaries, set your time that you're available. Even toxic friends and family members, So, we all have them, right? We all have somebody in our family that is kind of more of a drain on us than energizing. So if you're inviting people over, you don't have to invite everybody. Invite the people that you want there, not necessarily those that you feel obligated to have there. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So identify as the person you want to be. Thoughts are things, and I really believe in the power of the universe. I believe in the power of the subconscious mind. I believe that when you say something over somebody, you better be careful what you're saying, and this is especially true for yourself. So, are you someone who doesn't eat junk food, or are you someone who's constantly tempted by snacks? Can you see the difference in the way you think that? If you think, oh, I struggle, I got to have my chocolate, I can't live without it, it's going to be harder and harder for you to let go of that chocolate, because you're ingraining in yourself that you have a hard time resisting it. Whereas if you just tell yourself, I'm someone who doesn't eat junk food. Now, I'm not saying to lie to yourself or anything like that, but it's more in how you frame things and how you think about things. So when you're craving a snack, instead of saying, oh, I struggle with that, I don't know, do I have the willpower? Instead of that, you just tell yourself, oh no, I don't eat snacks, and just walk away from it. Over time, you will get better at that, and over time, your mind is going to believe it, and you're going to become that person, right? Are you trying to quit smoking, or are you a non-smoker? I tried to quit smoking for probably 8 years before I finally quit, but it's all a matter of you just have to make that decision. It's really up to you. That was the hardest thing I ever did, but you know what? It was my head trips that were keeping me from accomplishing it, and that's true for all of us. I mean, yes, there's a physical addiction. But at the same time, it's all in your mind. So let's see. Anitra says, I tend to train during gymnastics. I take my tablet and do a couple during class. There you go. Great idea. Great idea. Thank you for sharing that. So, so the same thing is true in your Avon business. You know, if you run your own business, you are the CEO. No matter how you slice it, you're the CEO. So you need to see yourself as that. You're a business owner. You're in charge of your business. You get to choose. And so turning your description of yourself into a positive voice and dropping the trying can really make a difference on your mindset. So maybe you're a stay-at-home mom with a business that allows you to be home with the kids, or maybe you're CEO of your thriving Avon business and receiving all kinds of recognition and incentive trips. Both of those are amazing things to be. Both of those are great. You get to stay home with your kids. How cool is that? You have your own business that allows you to stay home with your kids, or you're the CEO of your thriving Avon business and you're getting recognition, incentive trips, all of that. That's me. That's me. Now, I am absolutely. I'm getting incentive trips. I'm getting recognition. Am I getting as much as I want? Not yet, but that's okay because I'm getting it. It's coming. My business is thriving. And your business can be thriving even if you are a stay-at-home mom, and you're thriving to you might mean you get to be home with your kids. So, you know, don't let anybody try to tell you different because your business is what you want it to be. Okay, so find your community and join them to further sink into your identity. So surrounding yourself with like-minded people can help you keep that positive mindset. If there's a local Avon meeting, I know there are less and less these days, but if there is one local, make sure you attend. Make sure, because you want every opportunity to be around other Avon reps. Get in the Facebook groups, the positive groups, not the negative ones, but the positive groups where people are building each other up. Those are going to help you too, especially if you're kind of home and you can't get out. If you have kids in your home or whatever your reasons are that you can't get out, the Facebook groups will help. Make it a point to earn that next incentive trip. This is so critical if you're looking to build a big business, if you're looking to be a rock star, you're looking to have this giant Avon business that's really successful, then those trips are critical. You should have no excuse for missing them because only the best of the best are on those trips. And these are the people that you want to meet, make connections with, and build relationships with. We have friends that we have met year after year after year on the Avon trips. And they are our friends. And I like to laughingly say same time next year because I know that I'm going to see them on the next trip. Right? I mean, you know, Lisa Wilbur and Lisa Scola and Teresa Paul, those are those kinds of friends. We originally met way before Facebook, we met on bulletin boards. For those of you that are old and might remember bulletin boards, but we became friends on the bulletin boards first. Today, you can become friends with them on Facebook, and then you can meet them at an event, and you get to know them, and then you see them year after year after year. So it's like same time next year, you just keep meeting up with them. And when you're hanging around those top people, I guarantee you're going to think differently because it rubs off on you. So, surround yourself with people who are working their way up. It doesn't even have to be Avon. If they're working in a business and they're successful, they have that same mindset. So you can be there for each other as you're each building your own respective businesses. Get back on the wagon immediately if you slip. Hey, we all make mistakes. Every one of us makes a mistake, and mistakes are just part of the journey. You can't find success without making mistakes. And all a mistake is, or a failure, all it is that you learned something and you tweaked what you had to do to move forward. Because you're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to hit a roadblock. It might be of your doing, it might not be, but something got in your way of you being successful or you accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. And you learn, oh, I just need to move over a little bit and then move forward again. So if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. If you didn't get it done, things get in the way. So if you didn't get your follow-ups done today, then just make it a point to do double tomorrow, or take today's follow-ups and spread them out over the next couple of days. Just make sure they get done because that's what's important for your business, right? You can't obviously not do it every day because then you won't have a business. But if you realize that you made a mistake or something got in the way, it isn't even like necessarily something that's your fault. It's not a blame thing. It's just whatever happened today, you couldn't get the stuff done. So make it a point, put it first thing on your to-do list tomorrow. And if you didn't reach your sales goals this campaign, it's not the end of the world. Just work harder to make up for it next campaign. And so you've worked hard to develop these habits. So don't allow all your hard work to go to waste just because you made a mistake. It's too easy to say, oh, this is too hard, I give up. Because you're never going to achieve what you want if you do that. It's far easier to start the habit immediately than it is to start all over again months down the road. So if you make a mistake, make that course correction, and tomorrow you're going to do better. Much better than trying to pick up your business 6 months from now. So set a concrete goal for a certain number of days and don't break the chain. So track your activities, I've seen lots of different ways to do that. I think it was Todd Falcone, that taught, take your calendar and put a little box in the corner of each of your days of your calendar. And at the end of the day, put a tick mark for how many people you talked to that day. Or, set a goal to get X number of names every day, to give the book out, to your Avon book out to a certain number of people every day, whether it be 3 or 5. If you really want to build a big business, set a goal of meeting 5 new people every day and getting their contact information and then track it. At the end of 30 days, you can evaluate whether that goal was reasonable by how much you accomplished during that 30 days. So is it something you can increase? You can go more than 5 new people, or maybe it's something that that you need to decrease it because it's just too much for you to handle right now. And then you can decrease it. But you made a solid decision based on what's right for you in your business, not on because you failed, right? So you want to set sales goals every campaign too. You want to set, my team is going to sell this much. I'm personally going to sell this much each campaign. And if you don't achieve it, that's okay. You don't need to beat yourself up for it. Just look at the number and go, okay, I didn't quite make it, but next campaign I will. And your goals should make you stretch, but they should be attainable. So if you set them too big, then it could be overwhelming and it could make you want to give up. But seeing your progress will keep you motivated to keep going. So track it every day. So Anitra says, my friend who signed me back up into Avon gave up. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Anitra. That's sad. That's really sad because that's her loss, right? That's the problem. I just saw this quote today. I don't have it in front of me. It was, God, I wish I could remember exactly what it was. But he said, people tend to give up too easily when things go wrong. And you know what? That is so true. In general, people do. They give up too easily when things go wrong. But the reason why we are a success and the reason why you are going to be a star is because you are not giving up. And keep in mind, hi, Marcia, right? Hi, good to see you. Just keep in mind, that and that star can be whatever that is to you. If that's a stay-at-home mom and you're so proud of your kids that you're raising, then you're a star. Right? If your Avon business is allowing you to be home with your kids and your kids are turning out to be really good people because you are taking such good care of them, then that makes you a star. And if you're a rock star and you're on stage and you're getting recognition, then you're a star. Everybody's definition of star is different. Yes, thank you. I always struggle with your name but I remember at the leadership convention we were at, and you said Marcia. So I remember that.
I just want to say one thing real quick on that too. We have a good friend that's in another network marketing company, and she told the story one time when we met up with her that there was a girl on her team that signed up this other girl, and this girl was just nothing but complaining all the time. So she decided to quit, and this girl that she signed up went on to become a rock star in the company and ended up would have made her close to $5 million. $5 million if this girl wouldn't have quit. She wouldn't have had to do anything other than just help this one girl, and she would have made $5 million over like 5 or 6 years, I think. And it's just an incredible story. So, don't worry about it. If people leave, then, oh, well, you're still here and you're doing your thing. You got your goal and you're going for it.
And, in our business, in network marketing and in Avon and in any other network marketing business, you are literally one person away from massive success, just like Richard was just talking about. And you don't know who that person's going to be. Because it's all about you building a business. It's all about you bringing on a team. And of course, your profit, the money you make is all dependent upon your entire team. And every person in that team is important. Don't get me wrong, but you are one person away. You're going to find one person who's going to take off and is going to build a huge business that's going to make a huge difference to you in your business. And if you quit, you might quit the day before that person joins, or you might quit and they might be on your team and you don't know it yet. So don't quit. Don't quit. I mean, Richard and I walked away from our Avon business for 6 years. We didn't quit because we had a huge business. We had a $1.9 million business. And for some stupid reasons, I really thought that I could do better in another company. And I walked away from Avon. And, it was the biggest mistake I ever made. It really was. And my business is still there. I didn't lose my business, but over 6 years, it dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. And it just makes me sick to look at where it's at now compared to where it was. And if I would have stuck with it, where I would be, But hey, you live and learn, right?
And now we've met you and we're on our way again. Marcia.
And Marcia says, I missed the beginning, but I came in on a good note. Awesome. I'll be going back to listen to what I missed. Well, thank you. Thank you. We're glad you're here. And Judy, welcome from South Dakota. Get this off. Okay. So next up, choose concrete goals instead of abstractions. So making more money or enrolling more representatives, those aren't concrete and they are too abstract and they're not going to work. Instead, you want to choose to talk to 5 people every day and get their contact information so you can follow up, or choose a sales goal for the current campaign. So depending on where you are, that could be $150, $500, or even $3,000. Choose a goal that's going to make you stretch, but that's still possible. One that you're going to have to reach for, but you can do. And that's the cool thing about Avon having campaigns, because it's every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is a good time frame to push for a goal. It's short enough that if you make a solid goal, you have that desire to work for it, right? Whereas a long goal, you might give up before you get there. So over time, your business will grow. And at some point, the habits of setting goals and tracking them will become second nature. They'll become a new habit. And then you can add another tiny habit to the mix. So if you start too big, don't give up. Just kind of reevaluate. Just make your tiny habit a little smaller. So sometimes we set tiny habits that are still too big because we're used to thinking of everything as oversized. So if you can't commit to following up for 15 minutes, if you realistically look at it and say, no, I just really can't do this, it won't fit into my schedule every day, then drop it down. Make it in 3 5-minute slots. 5-minute slots 3 times a day, or 10 minutes every day, or whatever that is. And Anitra says, I'm determined to make this work for me outside of myself and my friends. Awesome. And that's really, you're absolutely right, because that's where you're going to find your most successes, outside of your friends and your family. When we first get started, we tell our reps, make a list of names. And, 200 names, make a list of everybody you know, get them down on paper, everybody you know. And that's where you start. And you're going to approach all of them to tell them you just started selling Avon and would they like a brochure. And maybe while you're doing that, you can ask them if they would be interested in selling Avon with you. But that's where you start. That nobody ever built a big business with just their friends and family. It's just, that's where you start. That's where you launch from. Just like if you opened a pizza place, you'd invite all your friends and family, they would all come to support you. But over time, you would advertise and word of mouth and mostly advertising, I guess, if you had a pizza place. And you would grow. And over time, your customers would not be your friends and family, right? It's the same thing with your Avon business. So you have to get outside of your friends and family. You have to learn how to prospect and have to learn how to meet new people, because that's where your business is going to grow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we actually have more friends than we think we do, because we just haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
And that's true with us. We have so many friends now that we wouldn't have had if we never would have joined Avon. And
the other thing is, and this is something that is really profound, and until you get to a point where you can look back on it and see it, it's hard to understand. But just keep in mind that your business, well, in fact, I'm going to talk about that down here. Let's go right here. So here's a saying that I love. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 5 years. So what happens is you're going to be working your business, and a year from now, you might think, God, I'm not getting anywhere. This just isn't working. This isn't working. I'm not getting there. But you have to keep going. You can't stop. You can't give up. Because if you stick in for 5 years, I guarantee you won't recognize your business. Your business 5 years from now is going to be full of leaders who you haven't even met yet. They're not even on your radar because you haven't even met them yet. And it's just amazing when you look back, when you've been in business a long time and you look back and you think of who your superstars are. Then you didn't know them 2 years ago. You didn't know them a year ago. You didn't know them 3 years ago, because they're going to come into your business and you're going to build relationships with them. And like Richard says, you're going to have friends that you don't even know yet.
I'd just like to say, even our story, when we joined Avon, we joined it, and our initial goal was to make enough money so we could help pay for a square dance website. That was our 1 year goal.
That was our only goal.
That was our only goal, really. But I mean, you look at it, that could have been our first goal. But then at the end of 5 years, Lynn had quit her job. I had stepped down from a high pressure management job that I was in, and we were debt free. And we had absolutely no idea when we joined Avon that was going to be happening.
Didn't even know it was possible.
But in 5 years, our life just totally flip-flopped.
You're absolutely
right. For the better. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. In 5 years, I had quit my job.
Yeah.
I was in a big power job of director of marketing for a food distributor. It was 60 to 70 hours a week. And both Richard and I were in jobs where we used to laugh about this, because we would get to work in the morning and we both felt like that somebody shoved us into a blender and just whirred us around all day in this blender, and then all of a sudden, like, the blender would stop for half a second. You'd pop your head out and you'd go, "Oh, it's 7 o'clock at night. I guess I can go home." And that's literally what our jobs were like. But you know, in less than 5 years, I was out of my job. I was able to quit my job, and then we got Richard out of his job really fast, and we were debt free. So this is what this business is capable of. So Marcia says, before you think of leaving Avon, do a pros and cons list. And if your cons outweigh your pros, sit down with your coach or upline and review the cons. Yeah. The cons are only hurdles you need help getting over. How profound is that?
Yes.
That is so smart. You are spot on. Thank you for sharing that. But you know, it's so easy for all of us to think we can't see past our blinders, and we see all these big these cons, these things that are like in the way of our business, or that we think maybe we shouldn't hang in there because of this or this or this. And if we start talking to other people, we realize that it's our blinders that are stopping us from seeing it. So that is so profound and great advice, to talk to somebody else before you make that decision. Thanks for sharing that. And then Sherry, welcome Sherry. Glad to see you're here. I have some of my most awesome customers, and they are my best friends. Yes, I have the same thing. I have customers that we only met because they were customers. We had no other connection with them. We picked them up from, I have one we picked up from a referral, and we meet with her for dinner regularly now. You know, so yeah, it's just amazing what this business can do for us in so many ways, right? So just to back up a little bit, you know, if you can't get motivated to go out and meet people, then let your first tiny habit be getting dressed and out the door. Or if you're afraid to talk to somebody, make your first habit be that you're going to smile at people and say hi. You don't even have to mention Avon, but you smile at people and say hi, and you start to realize that they're not going to be mean and bite your head off. And then maybe over time you'll be more able to ask, would you like a brochure? Another thing that works really well for us is Richard and I wear name tags. And I noticed Timothy Brown does the same thing. So we wear name tags, and when we're out and about in the store, someone will ask us, "Hey, do you sell Avon?" Like, "Yes, would you like a brochure?" and you know, and another story I love to tell, Tina, who's on my team, she told the story, and you guys are probably sick of hearing about it, but I actually love this story. She had a goal to, I think it was 3 people a day, that she had a goal of giving out her books and getting those names 3 a day. And she was on her way to our sales meeting, and she knew that if she didn't get those names in before our sales meeting, she wouldn't get them that day. And because we got, you know, by the time we got done and she got home, she just knew she wouldn't get them. So she's driving down the street, and she saw a bus stop, and there was a whole bunch of people at the bus stop, and she looked in her rearview mirror and there was no bus behind her. So she just pulled right into that bus stop, got out of her car and says, I have Avon brochures, who would like one? And she got her 3 names. So, it's just a matter of making that goal and making it happen, right? So the idea behind the tiny habits is they're meant to become automatic. So you don't think about them anymore, you just do them. So in the end, these tiny habits build on each other, and you'll find yourself talking to more and more people, doing your daily follow-ups and growing your business. I don't think about that anymore. My follow-ups, when I get up in the morning, first thing I do is I get in the shower, and then I get completely ready. I just don't put clothes on. I put my sweats on basically, but my makeup's done, my hair's done, what there is of it, and I'm clean, right? And then I go and I turn on my computer and I go down and I get my breakfast and I come up, and before I do anything else, I do my follow-ups. It's just habit. It's just, I know I get them done and boom, they're done. And now I can move on with the rest of my day. I check my email, I do whatever else I need to do. But it's just those habits, because you get used to doing those.
A lot of people too, they found, I know I found this, and if you start doing something, you build up confidence. You may be reluctant to try it, but once you get started, all of a sudden you realize how easy it is, or how simple this is, or how successful you are doing it, and you just start doing it. And you may do it a little longer than you had planned on, but you just getting out and doing it is the key. And
then feel the fear if you're afraid. Feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Yeah. It's okay to be afraid. Just go. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be like, would you like an Avon brochure? Because I guarantee you, if you do it a couple of times, it's going to get easier, and then you're going to find out it wasn't as scary as you thought. Or even if you think it's still scary, it's still not as bad as it was when you first started 15 minutes ago, because it's just a matter of doing it. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year. It's really hard to build a huge, thriving business in a year for anybody, for Avon included. Now, there are some people that have, but I wouldn't count on that you're going to make up, $1 million in your first year, But if you hang in there, you will not believe where you're going to be in 5 years, because 5 years is huge in your Avon business. You just, if you work it, if you're serious about it, you work it, you will be, in 5 years, you're not going to believe it. And so, in fact, it says 5 years from now, your business will be thriving and full of people you haven't even met yet. And that's so true.
Yeah. I just like to say, we've talked about it before, but the calendar is key to all these events. And I mentioned earlier that, I like to do some learning late at night. But the other thing I do every night is I look at my calendar before the next day, before I go to bed, every single night, because I look at that calendar to see what I have put on it during the day or during the weeks before. And I know in my head, this is what I'm going to do. Is tomorrow a day I can sleep in and not go anywhere and just sit around here, maybe barbecue something or whatever? Or is it a day I have to get brochures out, go out and do my route and get Avon books out? Or is it a day to deliver orders? Or what is it? But you see that and you have it in the back of your head. Again, it's just you're thinking overnight. And when the alarm goes off in the morning, if you have to get up at a certain time, you're ready to go. You're ready to jump out of bed because you've been thinking of all the positive, fun things you're going to get to do the next day.
Well, I do the same thing. I look at my calendar to see if I have to get up at a certain time. Otherwise, I wake up when I wake up. So live by your calendar. There's nothing wrong with putting everything in your calendar. I use a Google Calendar, and I share it with Richard so that we both can see it. We both use the same calendar so that we both know what's going on and we don't overbook ourselves. And so I live by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it probably won't happen. So that's, and then I also use a task list. I have an app called Wunderlist that I use, and you can literally search for Wunderlist in my blog here and find the details. It's a free app, and it's something that can also be shared. So I can share my tasks with Richard. So if I want him to do something, I can add it to that, and he gets a notice of it. But just having those tasks and like I talked about, doing 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there and 10 minutes while you're waiting for your kid's soccer game to start or whatever, that's where Wunderlist comes in really handy too, because you might have a task that says call this person or send this email or do this or do that, and boom, you can have it done in 2 or 3 minutes. And so you can just click them off, boom, boom, boom. So use it, add something to your task list, and then literally you can just check it off. You just click on it and check it. And the app works on my computer and on my phone, and so it's available no matter where I'm at. So I love that.
But going back to calendar, look up calendar as well, because we've done a talk on that, and that's really key because you put everything in there. It's personal, it's business, it's everything. So if you have a doctor's appointment, or if you have a soccer game, or if you have to pick up your kid after school, or if you're going out to dinner with your significant other, whatever it is, delivering Avon orders, it's all there, and it's all there each day, and you can look at it at night, plan your day the next day in the back of your mind, and boom, you're ready to go.
Yeah, you can even, depending on your calendar, on my Google Calendar, I can color code it according to personal and business and whatever, so it makes it easy to see. But that's one thing I can promise you, and maybe I need to do a training on this one, but I can promise you that I can probably look at your calendar and have a pretty good idea of how good you're doing in your business. And because if you show me your calendar and you have appointments and tasks set up and things that you're doing, then I know that you're probably building your business and you're growing. If I look at your calendar and there's not much on there, then I probably know that you're not doing anything in your business.
Yeah, if it's on your calendar, you make it happen. Our good friend of ours, one time he wanted to, he kept saying, boy, I want to go to the Caribbean. I want to take this special trip. I want to go to the Caribbean and do this. And he never would do it. So finally one day he just went to the calendar and says, I'm going to go in May. And he put it on his calendar. And sure enough, he made it happen and he went. Yeah. And that's what happens. If it's on your calendar, it gets done.
Yeah. Okay, well, you guys, that's all I really have. So let me come back to this. There we go. And I think we got all of the comments. I want to thank you guys all for being here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
And so we will be back next Sunday, same time, same place. And then after that, we'll be at Rep Fest. So I hope that you're going to Rep Fest. I hope I will see you there. And Anitra says, hold on. If things are not on my calendar, I tend to forget. Yeah. I should use my to-do list in Google more. Yes, yeah. Your to-do list. You know, it takes a little bit of time to get used to using your to-do list, but it makes all the difference in the world for me. I get so much more accomplished by using my to-do list. And what I love about Wunderlist is I can schedule it as repeating. So like on the first day of the new campaign, I know that I need to text the book link to everybody. So I have that as a thing in my to-do list, text book link, and it's repeating every 2 weeks. And then I have one that says, send out reminders that orders are due. And I have that repeating every 2 weeks. So I can check it off. And then just 2 weeks from now, it'll come up again. And that way I make sure everything gets done. So, Marcia, thank you. Sherry, thank you. Hey, Judy, Sherry. Thank you. Thank you guys all for being here. And we will see you next week.
Yes.
Have a great week.
Have a great week, everybody.